want to introduce some guest speakers because the numbers don't mean a whole heck of a lot if you don't understand the context of those numbers. So we have a few. I'm going to start with Bruce, if that's okay. If Bruce would come up, he is a recent surgery client, and Bruce has traveled all the way from Dublin, Bruce Lynn, so please appreciate him.
I just want to thank everybody. It's nothing to come all the way up here and say thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, it was about middle of 2008, I started having blurriness in my eyes, and I got laid off from my job there, but I didn't think nothing about the blurriness, and then it just got worse and worse. So I went to the eye doctor, and they checked it out and all, and then he told me it was cataracts. I could still see okay. I mean, it was blurry, but I could still see, so I just kind of went on, and then as time went by in 2009, it got worse and worse. So I went back to the same clinic, but to another doctor, kind of like second opinion, and he told me that it was cataracts also, the same thing, and that probably by Christmas time I would be completely blind. You know, it would take a bucket of money to get what I needed done. So he told me I could maybe try Medicaid, or not that, to try the Lions Club, but I never heard of the Lions Club. At this point in time, I was pretty much half blind, or close to almost all blind, but I went down there to Medicaid and got my daughter to take me down there, and she was filling out the paperwork and all like that. We turned it in. They said, well, you're not permanently blind. We can't help you. So that's when I got my son to fill out papers and all, and we wrote here to the Lions Club. And so during that time, we were waiting on the, you know, I know things take time, and we was waiting to see if we can hear from the Lions Club, because I knew nothing about them. But all this time, I had found me a little old job at Cracker Barrel, which I work at nighttime at. And Cracker Barrel, they knew I was blind, because when you got to sign for your check, somebody was signing for my check, and they would all stay out of the way when I had to leave. See, it was like living like Dracula. For some reason, the sunlight, when it first coming up or the sun's coming down, I could see nothing. I just know all those little back roads. And I tried to beat the sun. I had to be home before the sun come up. And driving at night, I was fine until a car would come and shine the lights. I knew I could stay on my side of the road. I just had to hope nobody was over here jogging. And there was one time I didn't beat that sun. I did not beat that sun home. It was in the afternoon. The man was standing right there. He had the sign. He had on the orange vest. He had on the hat. And they had one lane of traffic because this lane was closed. The other man was at the other end. He had turned the go sign on and letting the cars come. I never saw this man right here till he dived in the ditch. He jumped in the ditch, and then I had them cars coming right at me. I went off in the ditch, up through a yard. I cut through the VA and made it home, and I never seen the police. I said, man, I hope the Lion Club will call. Still ain't heard nothing yet. And then a little later on, the bridge that I crossed to go to work, it had got damaged, so that had become one lane. But I'd been going that way. They got the sign up there telling you one lane, and the things out there to stay on one lane. But that one night I was coming to work, I could see bright lights like car lights or police lights and stuff. I seen a police light flashing. I thought, well, they got somebody pulled over. So I kept on going. I'm driving. Now here's something. Hey! I keep on driving. Hey! I didn't know it, but they was working on the bridge up there. All the men were on the bridge. The police officer that was standing right there, I'd never seen him. He was running behind my truck. So if he had not have caught me, you probably would have seen on the news, workers jumped from I-16 bridge, blind man arrested. But he caught me, and he didn't check me out close. No, he just said, partner, you got to turn around and go the other way. This is closed tonight, but he didn't say it like that. He said, that's why he didn't check me out. He was too tired. I know he appreciates that patrol car now. And I was again like, man, I need the Lion Club to call something. Something's got to change. And then finally they did call, and I was relieved, and Miss Victoria and all the others, I'm not sure who all I talked with, they all called, and I got over there and got the operation on the first eye in October, and I was happy with that. I mean, that was just fine right there. I mean, I just didn't know in them donations how much money was out there. I could have stayed with just one eye and let the other one be bad, so somebody else that had two eyes bad could get at least one eye fixed. But she called back, and then in December I got the other eye fixed, and I just kind of, all I can tell you is I'm so thankful to you. And what you don't know is, by everybody that donated, and by the Lions Club and all your graciousness, you did save a life. Because after December, when this one eye was fixed, this was the good eye that I was seeing from, even though people were jumping out roads and all. I was looking out the good eye, because this eye was gone, but this eye had got fixed. And then I got that eye fixed. But if the Lions Club for some reason wouldn't have came through, or I hadn't heard about them or found them out, after December and January, I mean, I can tell you, them cataracts, I'd have been totally blind. And I know it's, one thing to be born blind and learn to be blind if you're born blind, but to be able to see all your life and then go blind, it's super hard to learn how to get around and all. And what happened is, I was there at the house at the kitchen, and I heard a bunch of hitting like that. And I turned around. Now, had I been blind, I couldn't have seen anything. I wouldn't have known. But I turned around because I could see. And my mother, who's in her 80s, had eaten a piece of cube steak, and it had lodged in her throat, and she was choking. And she couldn't breathe, and she couldn't talk. Now, had I been blind, I might could have, found the phone and finally hit the right number. By the time they got there, it'd been too late. But because of the Lions Club, because I could see, I was able to put her in that Hamanette maneuver thing, and she's fine right now. But it's all because from the Lord and the Lions Club and all that y'all do, and I surely do thank you.